Welcome to this dramatic therapy monologue. Listen to this meditation with an open mind and heart. In between each part, focus on your breath. Start now by inhaling deeply through your nose and slowly exhaling through your mouth. Then gently turn your attention to the natural rhythms of your breath. When I was a kid, I used to tell stories to myself. I would climb into this old hollowed-out tree in my backyard because it felt like a secret, sacred place. I imagined a world where I was not small, not afraid. My words were like weapons then, keeping the monsters at bay. But now, sitting in front of the blank computer screen, I feel just as small as I did back then. The fear has shape-shifted, that is all. It used to be bruises from bigger kids. Now it is this relentless crushing pressure to be good, to be more than good, to be great, to be read, to be seen, to be wanted. That is the first lie you learn as a writer, that once you finish something, you will feel whole. But the story is never finished. You begin again and again, fighting your own ghosts. Let your breath be honest. I want to admit something. Most days I hate the rewriting process. I fear it, to be completely truthful. I stare at the page and I want to believe that what I wrote yesterday is beautiful, untouchable, safe. I want to protect it. Because if I tear it apart, what if I discover that I have nothing to say? What if every good idea I ever had was just an accident? Lightning caught in a bottle only once. But the brutal job, is to see the story again with new eyes not fogged by pride or nostalgia, and that is almost impossible. You are supposed to read it as if you have never seen it before, but in truth, every sentence is heavy with memory. The feeling I had at midnight, the crooked smile I thought only I could see. That is the trap. Each sentence becomes a symbol, a secret handshake with myself. When I read it, I am not really experiencing the story on the page. I am experiencing the echo of my own intention. I am lost in my own museum of ghosts, guided not by the words, but by what I remember wanting them to mean. Focus again on your breath, letting each inhale sweep away the cobwebs of old intention. There is a method, and it feels like an exorcism. Meditative reading. You strip away your history with the words and you only read the letters, naked and alone. You let the image build from nothing, just as any stranger would. No pre-made film reels, no borrowed joy or loss. What do I really see? What do I really feel? If I am honest, sometimes there is nothing, just a hollow space where meaning should be. That emptiness is terrifying. It is the child you who stood at the front of the classroom, certain everyone would laugh before you spoke. But if you stay with it, if you let the fear settle, sometimes you create something real. Again, follow your breath, count it, hold on to it like a lifeline. Sometimes I must pretend I do not care about this screenplay at all. It sounds brutal, but it is true. I tell myself, be the agent who wants to reject this on page 3. Be the publisher scanning the slush pile, desperate to move on, to find an easy reason to say no. It is a sick game of self-sabotage, but there is honesty in the cruelty. I ask myself, would I bother turning the page if my name was not on it? If I was not in love with my own story? Does the writing even read like it cost something to make it? Or did I just sneak by with the simplest version, the minimum effort? In that place, the answer is often ugly, but there is medicine in the ugliness. Breathe. Feel the truth in your chest. The hardest part comes next. I have this flaw, and it has teeth. I am the boy who never felt special, never felt welcome, and so when I write something, anything, I am flush with this fever dream, this thrill. I am someone now. I have done something. That is the dangerous false dopamine, the applause I have chased since I learned that praise could fill the empty corners of a wounded heart. But that applause is a trick. I read my work, and I am too damn impressed by myself just for showing up. Each clever phrase is a celebration. I think, look what I made, look at me. But that is not honesty. That is not the job. Sit with your breath as the old dream dissolves. The crisis is here. I realize that for years I have rewritten not to make the story better, but to protect that scared boy who wants someone, anyone, to say he is enough. Every red mark on the page feels like a rejection, not of the writing, but of me. I panic. It feels like tearing out my own stitches, exposing the wound again and again, never letting it heal. But then, Something shifts. The crumbling hurts, but it brings freedom. If I let go of the need to be impressive, if I admit that thousands of people have written better, more beautiful things, suddenly, I am not so precious about it all. I'm not tangled in my own myth. I remember the hollowed-out tree and the stories I invented not to impress but to survive, to feel alive in my own head. That is when writing becomes real again, and I can see the story as a story, not as proof that I deserve to exist. My ego sits down. I read the words on the page, just the words, and I try to love them as they are, not as I wish they were. I smell the rain through the wood. I hear the pages turning. I allow myself to begin again. One last breath, hold it, let it go. So here is the truth and the transformation. I am the writer who is always haunted, always hungry, but I am also the writer who can survive the rewrite. I can see my own work coldly, honestly. It hurts, but it sets me free. I am not here to impress myself, to be my own savior. I am here to tell the truth. The story will never be perfect, but if I am brave, it can become real. I come back to the hollowed-out tree, older now, but finally unafraid. The monsters have new names, but I know their faces. Sitting here breathing, I know I can face them. I can let the old versions die and plant something that might just live. Thank you for listening. Return to your breath. Begin again.